Hi there, greetings everybody. I want to welcome you all here to the Prog Monster. My name is Murph. I am the host of this show. So we're here, favorites. Yes, it's Wednesday night favorites, and at last I'm going to do the ranking of the Who albums. Yeah, I've been listening to them for the entire month of March, just playing them over and over and over and trying to make sure I get a real good feel for where they belong. I think I'm pretty strong now in how I like them. I wasn't so sure at the beginning. There was a couple of albums I think I was pushing them up a little bit because of their notoriety and not really about how I felt about them. So I decided to change that. So this last couple of listens, I've gone with my gut a little bit more, and I think we're pretty strong here. So for those of you who've been living on another planet and don't know about the Who were one of the British invasion bands of the 1960s. They probably made less albums than those other bands in that those other top line bands, the Beatles, the Stones, the Kinks, and such. But this is the one discography that I've discovered thus far that has not had any bad albums. Just about every band has at least one bad album. Some have many bad albums. Some are all bad albums. But The Who, to my way of thinking, there are no bad albums in this discography. Now, for me, The Who is more of a band, of a live band. So their live albums are stronger than most bands' live albums. And for me, that's the way I normally go. But their studio albums are still quite good. So we're going to do this the way I always do it, from my worst or my least favorite, or the album that I think is in last place is going to go at the bottom, and the album that is my favorite will go at the top. Obviously, we'll do this from bottom up, or from worst to first, or in this case 12th to first, because the Who have 12 studio albums. Sorry, they had a great deal of space between a lot of their albums too. Usually in the 60s there was like maybe a year or two, which was very unusual at the time. Normally there was like, most bands were putting out at least an album a year, and sometimes two, and in some cases three. But the Who, they had 65, 66, or 60, 65, 66, 67, and 69. So not quite an album of a year. Then they jumped to 71, 73, 75, 78. So not a lot of albums spaced out during their busy period. They had a couple in the 80s and then a huge hiatus for about 23 years. Did another album, then another 12, 13 years, and did their final album. Whether they make any more or not, I have my doubts at this stage of the game, and it would be too bad because their last one was very good. So we're going to start with the bottom album. So these three bottom albums probably could change around on a given day. Definitely the bottom two, I kept flipping them back and forth, and just finally decided to stay with the way I've got it right now. But it's very close. And I want to make sure that people understand that these are just my rankings. They're not necessarily the definitive rankings for the Who. And these particular albums, it's just the way I feel about them. It doesn't mean that that's what has to be. This is not written in stone. It's just the way I feel about them today. These bottom two albums are by no means bad. I think they're pretty good. They got ranked. They're like threes. If I don't like an album, it generally doesn't get ranked. Or I might give it a 4. I have a few 4s, but there's not many of them. So the first one, or number 12 on the list, is going to be from the 1980s. This is called It's Hard. Their second one, released in the 1980s. Their 10th overall, and it's going to come here last, but only by a hair. For a bit, this one was as high as 10th, but lost its spot over a listening period. It does have the song Athena on it, which is really quite good, very strong. If they did more like that, on this album. It could have done higher. Got a couple of other songs. When Life's Enough, pretty strong song too. I like this track quite a bit. After that, it's kind of mediocre. So, but nothing terrible. There's nothing on here that makes me wonder why they did this album. I guess for me, this album, along with the one that's coming up next, very polished, very good production, and in a way kind of sound a little bit like Pete Townshend's solo albums, which makes sense considering most of the stuff was written by him. But, and a lot more poppy than I like My Who. So I like My Who raw, hard, arrogant, a little bit aggressive, maybe anarchistic in some ways. There's none of that on these albums. It's missing. Nothing wrong with the drummer they have here. He's good. But to be honest with you, he's not Keith Moon, and not that he's not as good as Keith Moon. He might be just as good as Keith Moon. It's just his style doesn't really suit The Who. Makes them sound too smooth and too, for lack of a better term, commercial. And this is a bit of a commercial album, but it's not a bad album by any stretch. I do like a couple of tunes on here. Some of the other stuff isn't too bad. I think it would grow on me with time. But this is going to be my number 12, The Who's It's Hard. So the next one up, obviously, is going to be the other one from the 1980s, Face Dances. This one's a year older. A year older, released in 81. That one was in 82. Cover's a little more interesting than the other one as well. I think the other album's a little bit heavier. This one has a couple of tunes that I really quite like a lot. Another Tricky Day, the last track on the album. Great song, love it. And then the opening track, You Better You Bet, also very good. Most of the stuff in the middle is going between being okay to being not memorable. The Quiet One isn't too bad. It's not a terrible album. I think the two bookend tracks, though, are the best two. And I think they also are better than the bookends on that album. Well, the bookends on that album aren't actually bookends. So by a hair, I put this album ahead of It's Hard. But they're not bad albums. Like I said, these are definitely passable albums. Just not as strong as some of the other stuff in their discography. So that's number 11. Number 10 is going to be their debut album. Yep. My Generation. They're so young looking on this album too. Like, look at these guys. Baby faces. I think Roger was the oldest one here at 20, and the other guys are all teenagers, with Keith Moon being only 18. But it has some good songs on it, and surprisingly good sound for an album dated back in early 64. This has the big hits on here, A Legal Matter, The Kid's All Right, and My Generation. Those are the more well-known tracks on here. There was quite a few Who songs that were never put on an album originally. Songs like Happy Jack and The Seeker, and there's a couple of others too that come to mind, but don't come to mind, sorry. But overall, this is a pretty decent album. I think it wins over those first two albums on the strength of the three big tracks on here. The Kids Are All Right, My Generation, The Legal Matter. The other songs are okay. They match up well against the okay songs on that album. This album's just a little bit better because of those three tracks I said, and so it's going to come here at number 10. Next up, we have another album from the 60s. This is a quick one. The album cover is quite interesting. I do like it. A little bit of the back stuff going on here too. This particular album comes with a bunch of added tracks as well, including some of my favorite. The Batman thing is really cool, kind of funny. A lot of quirky stuff at the bottom end of this album that wasn't on the original album. Happy Jack is all here, the acoustic version, but still pretty good. But the songs that were on the original album, there was 10 tracks, all pretty decent stuff, pretty much the same as My Generation, with the exception of it has Boris the Spider here. I Need You, which I think is good. Whiskey Man's decent too. So Sad About Us is one of my favorite of their songs. And then a quick one, While He's Away, really good. First kind of lengthy mini kind of song, mini kind of compilation, or what do they call them? I can't think of the word. I always forget that word. I don't know why. Anyways, this is a pretty decent album. And the songs that are at the top, like the better songs on this album, are better than the better songs on My Generation, which is why I moved it ahead. So it's going to come here at number 4. Again, I think this is the best cover of the first 4 so far too. So that's number 9. Number 8 is a little bit of a jump up. Some people wouldn't see it as a jump up. I kind of like it, and that's their first one after the 23-year break, which is Endless Wire. It's a little bit more polished, obviously, but it does have some stuff, a little bit of attitude in here. Roger's voice is kind of weak on this album, though. It's just not that strong. I don't know how long after his throat surgery this album was released, but it seems to be he was struggling a bit on this album. The songs are kind of, because it's kind of telling a couple of stories and then just a bunch of thrown in tracks here. It's kind of a little bit disjointed, this album, but it has some strong stuff on it. I like A Man in a Purple Dress. I think it's kind of funny, but I like it. Mike Post theme, very good as well. 2,000 Years. I love that track, really good. God Speaks of Marty Robbins. Yeah, decent track too. It's Not Enough. Yeah, another good, really solid track. You Stand By Me. I kind of liked that early on. It's not so much anymore. And then we jump down to Unholy Trinity, which I think is the best track on the album. I like it a lot. I think I like it as much as just about anything on the first few albums we've ranked. Maybe not as good as a couple of the songs, but still pretty strong album. Pretty strong song. The thing that Mirador is good as well. I think the thing that maybe hurts this album a bit is that it's a bit lengthy. 21 tracks in total. I don't know how long the album is, but it's definitely outside of my wheelhouse. But I still kind of like it. I think it had an impact on me when I first got it back in when it came out in 2006-07 time period, and it had been so long since The Who had had an album. I was just happy to hear it. Hasn't held up as well as I had hoped it would, but still is still not a bad. And then you have the extra CD and the bonus DVD in here, which isn't too bad either. So this album's going to come in at number 8. Endless Wire. Number 8. Number 7. So number 7 is going to surprise people. Most people would put this album pretty close to near the top. Concept album. That's what the word I was trying to think of. Tommy from The Who. Really good concept album. Maybe the best of all time. The storyline is good. I follow the storyline. The music isn't as good. Seems a little bit disjointed to me at times, although it's really basically one big song. If you think of it as one big song, it's really well put together. If you think of it as little bits, it's kind of disjointed a bit. I like some of the tracks on here. The opening track, Overture, is good. Cousin Kevin, kind of funny. The Acid Queen, great tune. Pinball Wizard, of course, one of their great classic songs. Tommy, Can You Hear Me? I kind of like this. It's kind of funny. Sally Simpson. Then it goes to I'm Free, which is another really good song here. And Tommy's Holiday Camp. So it ends off pretty decent where we're going to take it. We're not gonna take it. We never did and we never will. Yeah, pretty strong album altogether. It sounds a little dated to me when I listen to it. For a concept album, it lacks a lot of really powerful instrumentation, but it makes up for that with the storyline. So I do like it. I just don't like it as much as some of the other stuff that's going to come up here. So at number 7, are we at? We're at number 7. Yep. Yep, number 7, Tommy. So number 8, or sorry, number 6. So we're down to the first half is done. Oh, this is number 7. Where did I miss? Oh no, this is number 6. Sorry, I forgot that the Quadrophenia was a double album. So the next one up is the last one from the 60s, the Who Sell Out. This is really quite good, despite the kind of quirkiness of the album, the weird noises and the quirkiness overall of the album cover and stuff, which I thought was kind of weak, but the songs are good here. Marianne with the Shaky Hands, one of the great early Who songs. Tattoo is really good too. I Can Reach You, I like a lot. Yeah, there's just a lot of lesser known songs that are really quite strong on this album. And I think overall it may not have the top running songs like some of the previous albums, but overall it's a stronger album. So this was released back in, I think this was their third album. So I think it was in 67, 68. Pretty strong album leading up to their next album, which would be Tommy. So yeah, really good album. I like it. Just a hair more than Tommy. Maybe if I listen to this, this one isn't burned out as much as Tommy. So maybe if they were both burned out a little bit more, this one might end up a little bit lower. But for today, it's going to be number 6. Number 5. So we're down to the top 5. This one's still fairly new to me, Quadrophenia. As an album, it's new to me. It's a double album. A lot of the songs are not new to me. I've heard them for years, of course, but the album as a whole is new to me. There's a lot of stuff on here I never heard before. This one's quite a bit better than, I think it's a better album than Tommy. Even though it's also a concept album, I think the concept's a little bit more relevant. The songs are better, I think, overall. And it's not as disjointed, I don't think, as it would be if you were taking it apart. But as a storyline, it's pretty well written. The Real Me is really good. The title track, of course, I like quite a bit. I'm looking here. Is it in my head? That's pretty decent. I've had enough. I've had enough. I've had enough. Bellboy, of course, kind of a quirky song, but really good. Dr. Jimmy, I like that. Love, Reign Over Me, which is, to me, the best track on the album, ends the album. It's a strong album. I do like the cover quite a bit as well. The only thing that hurts this album, in my own opinion, is that it's a double album. And like most double albums, it's very tough to have every song be a top-notch song. So you've got some stuff in here that's part of the story, but it's not really all that strong. So this came out in 1973, but still a good album. I suspect that once I've had this and been listening to it for a couple of years, it will move up in the ranking here, probably make the top 3 or so. So that's number 5, the Quadrophenia. Number 4, I think this one wins by nostalgic reasons over Quadrophenia. If Quadrophenia had the same amount of time in as this, I think it would probably fly higher. But I like this because I'm very familiar with it, the Who by Numbers. Everything on here is good or great. Slip Kids is great. However much I booze, I've always liked that track. Squeeze Box, of course, is the big hit. Dreaming from the Waist, this one, really cool song. Imagine a Man. Yeah, fantastic tune. A Success Story, they are all in love. Blue, Red, and Gray. How many friends do I really have? In a hand or in a face? Yeah, the final track is really good. I do like the album cover. It's kind of quirky. The way they draw them. Fantastic. Yeah, just fantastic. So this came out in '75. It's kind of after their couple of concept albums and the big, the three concept albums if you count the Lighthouse Experiment. And I'm thinking he's kind of burned out a bit, but the songs are still good. Maybe toned down a little bit. Not as heavy an album as some of their other ones, but still pretty good. The Who by Numbers, that's my number 4. Number 3, Who Are You? Maybe a few years ago, this might have been higher, might have been number 2. I like all the songs on here. Title track is one of the great Who songs. Always had lots of energy with that. I always liked that song a lot. Had Enough, pretty decent track too. Sister Disco, one of my favorite Who tracks. Very underrated song. The Music Must Change is good. Trick of the Light, I like that. Guitar and Pen, this is an underrated track by them as well. Love Is Coming Down, pretty decent. But Who Are You, Sister Disco, and Guitar and Pen, top-notch Who songs. This album is a strong album. I don't think it's an overwhelming album. Maybe it gets more attention than it deserves, but I think it's still pretty solid. Maybe a little bit overrated, but definitely belongs in the top part of the Who discography, in my own opinion. So this is the Who Are You? Released back in '78, and also the final album for Keith Moon. Sorry, drew a blank for a second. So now the top 2 for me. So with the bottom half of the Who, or with the albums we've done so far, we've had solid albums, we've had good albums, and we've had some borderline strong, extra strong albums. These last 2 to me are easily the best 2, easily my favorite, and the number 1 is easily my favorite, number 2 is easily my favorite, but they're not really close to each other. So the next album up is the last Who album released, their self-titled album, or some people call it the Detour album, which is written here. So this has a total of 11 tracks on it, all really good stuff. Yes, it's got a bit of a clean sound to it, but it sounds more like the Who than the previous album. It also seems to flow better. It sounds like a Who album that you would get in the '70s. All This Music Must Fade, good track to open the album with. Ball and Chain, fantastic track. I Don't Want to Get Wise. This is a little bit of a quirky song, but it's kind of different. I like the kind of harmonizing vocals there. They're a little bit flat, but they sound perfect. Detour, really heavy, like it. Definitely a quirky Who song for sure. Beads on One String, this may be the best track on the album. I love this song. It's one of my favorite Who songs. Hero at Ground Zero, pretty decent. Secret song. I'll Be Back, Break the News, Rockin' in Rage. She Rocked My World. That may be the worst track on the album. I'll Be Back is pretty good too. But overall, from top to bottom, strong album. I think if you were to line this up against any other albums over from top to bottom, I think it's stronger than all the other albums. And that's pretty much why it's here number 2. And it's got some really great songs as well. I was hoping they would do another album similar to this one, but perhaps this is it. But if this is it, this is not a bad way to go. This album is already 7 years old, but when it came out, it was one of my favorite albums of that year. Still listen to it. It's one of my go-to albums. I wish they'd done more, but I'm okay with just having that. So that's my number 2. Number 1, I don't think this is going to be a surprise. This is usually number 1 for just about everybody who listens to the Who. Who's Next? This is a near perfect. I wonder what this would have been like if it had stayed as the Lighthouse Project. Hard to know. So this is their first album in the '70s, 1971's. Their heaviest album, has most of their really well-known great tracks. Baba O'Reilly, Behind Blue Eyes, Won't Get Fooled Again. These are all top-shelf Who songs. All of them very different, but all of them really strong, really good. And then you've got some stuff here that is a little bit more of a deep cut, but all of the stuff on this album is good. There are no bad tracks on here. Bargain is a really good second track on here. Love Ain't for Keeping, another heavy song. My Wife, I think, is John Entwistle's best song myself. Even though I do like Boris the Spider and some of the other stuff he's done, I think this is his best song. The song is over. Yeah, a little bit different than some of the other tracks on here, but I like it a lot. Getting in Tune, this is another kind of just one of those Who anthem type tracks. I like it. Going Mobile, another great tune. And then it ends off, of course, with Behind Blue Eyes, which is fantastic. Fantastic vocal song. And then Won't Get Fooled Again, which I think is my favorite Who song. Maybe has always been my favorite Who song because it was the first one I ever heard. So it started at the top and it stayed at the top for since 79. So what's that? That's like 47 years of listening to this album. So The Who. Who's Next? Number 1. So I'll just give them to you back from top to bottom. Who's Next? Number 1. The Who's self-titled final album. Number 2. Number 3 is Who Are You? Number 4 is Who by Numbers. Number 5 is Quadrophenia. Number 6 is The Who Sellout. Number 7, Tommy. Number 8, Endless Wire. Number 9, A Quick One. Number 10, My Generation. Number 11 is It's Hard. Number 11 is Face Dances. And number 12 is It's Hard. Those two albums, sometimes I forget which one is which. Anyways, that's my Who ranking. I hope you've enjoyed this episode. Please hit the like and subscribe. If you want to make any comments about any of the albums or you just want to rank the 12 yourself, you can do that in the comment section below. And we will see you all. I guess we'll probably do another ranking beginning of May. I am planning on doing the first 4 Marillion albums as a ranking because I don't really listen to the rest of Marillion, so it wouldn't make much sense to do that. So I'm going to do that, and that'll be the next one, probably in about a month. So take care, have yourself a good one, and goodbye.